Hey y'all, today we're going to be making some yummy barbecue sides. Now I know everybody's about the meat at a barbecue, but we don't give enough love to these side dishes. So I'm going to share with y'all 3 of my favorite barbecue side dishes today. So starting out, we're going to make some potato salad. Now, I never use measurements when I make potato salad or baked beans or deviled eggs, which are the 3 recipes that I'm going to share with you today. And I know everybody makes theirs a little bit different, so this is just the way that I make mine. This is the way my family has always done it, and this is the way that we like it, but you can certainly change things to suit, whatever your family's preferences are. Now, as you can see, I do cut my potatoes up in my hand with a knife, but you certainly do not have to do that. You can use a potato peeler or however you peel your potatoes. But for potato salad, I do like potato skins, but not in my potato salad. So, like I said, I don't really measure anything, but I'm going to do my best to give y'all some measurements down in the description box. And because I made all of these in the same day, you're going to see me kind of flip-flopping back and forth a little bit in between the 3 recipes because I use some of the same ingredients in all 3 of them, okay? So, once you get your potatoes all peeled up, we're going to go ahead and get them washed good, and then you're going to need to cube them up. Now, a lot of people, like I said, I know potato salad is kind of one of those things that people are real passionate about. So if you like bigger chunks of potato in yours, then cut your potato chunks bigger. If you like your potato salad smooth, then make smaller chunks and cook it a little bit longer. I just cook mine until they're fork tender because I like some of my potato to become creamy, like a mashed potato consistency, but I also like to have a little bit of soft potato chunks in my potato salad. If that makes any sense, you'll see when we start mixing everything up. So go ahead and just cube your potatoes up and then put them in your water. And like I said, you're just going to put these on the stove and let them boil until they're fork tender. And that just means you can stick a fork in it and it kind of falls apart, but you don't want these too mushy, okay? So the next thing that I'm going to do is get a few of the little ingredients ready that we're going to need for these recipes. So I like to add a little bit of onion to my potato salad. I also add a little bit of onion to my baked beans. So I went ahead and chopped up just a little bit of onion. I'm going to do half, and then this half onion, I'm going to split between the 2 recipes. So what you're going to need for each recipe is about 1/4 of an onion. Now, I dice mine up really, really small when I do potato salad because I like the flavor and I like the occasional little bit of a crunch from the onion, but I don't want huge hunks of onion in my potato salad. So there's my pot I'm going to put my beans in. So I'm going to put about half of them onions over in there for my beans. And then this other half I'm going to use for my potato salad. So I'm going to go ahead because, we got our potatoes cooking, but we're going to go ahead and get the rest of this ready. So it's ready when we get ready for it. So go ahead and just put your onion right over in whatever bowl you're going to use for your potato salad. And then just set that over to the side until we're ready for it, okay? Now, like I said, we're making deviled eggs, but I also put eggs in my potato salad. So I just boil up a bunch of eggs, and I usually use for this size of a potato salad about 5 or 6 eggs, and then I use whatever's left, and I make deviled eggs out of whatever I have. And of course, that's going to depend on the amount of people you're feeding to. So I just go ahead, and the way that I do my boiled eggs, because I know everybody does it different, and you know sometimes you come across where you can't get the peel off your egg. What I do for mine, I put them in cold water, put them on the stove, and I bring them to a boil. As soon as they start boiling, I time it for 10 minutes. When that 10 minutes is up, I take them off the stove, pour all the hot water out, and sit them in cold water. I don't do an ice bath or anything. Cold water works for me. And you'll see in here too, I still will have the occasional egg and I do salt my water too. So that usually helps to get the shell off for me. Do it how you want to, but that's how it works for me. But I peel these up, and then I use the ugly eggs, or the eggs that may have, not come out of the shell real good. I use those for my potato salad because we're going to mush those up. And then I save the pretty eggs for my deviled eggs, So you do however you need to do it to get it done, right? So I wanted to remind y'all that we hit 2,000 subscribers on my channel. I'm so excited, and I'm going to be doing a Q&A video. So all the month of August, I want y'all to send me any questions that you have about me, about the channel. Put them in the description. Down in the comments. You can put them on any of my posts, and we're going to put a video together and answer those next month. So once you get all of your eggs peeled up, see, these kind of turned out a little bit funky. I lost a little bit of the egg whites on there. So those are the 5 that I'm going to use for my potato salad. And this other plate full of the pretty eggs, those are the ones that I'm going to use for my deviled eggs. So what I do is I go ahead and you slice your eggs long ways. See, like that right there? And then you forget that you need a bowl. But you're going to go ahead and you're going to pop your little yellow parts out into that bowl and just sit your egg whites over there to the side, because we're going to make the filling for your deviled eggs is made out of the yellow part of your egg. And of course, the white part is your little boat. It's your little holder, your little shell. So go ahead and just pop all those out. And like I said, and I may say this several times, this is the way I do mine. If you have a different recipe, I'd love to hear about it. If you prefer things a different way, we're all different. We're all different, y'all. You cook for what your family likes. And this is the way we grew up eating it, so this is the way that I do it. Now, for my potato salad, I cut my eggs up a little bit, and then I mash them with a fork. Now, I like the egg in my potato salad, but I do not like huge chunks of egg in my potato salad. I know some people may not even use egg. I don't know if I've ever seen one without egg, but some people like big, just kind of cut them up into big chunks. I don't like mine that way. So the best way that I have found to do it is just take a fork and just mash it up just like this. See there? And you'll just mash it up until you get kind of almost like crumbs, like big crumbs though. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like granola, or maybe the size of oatmeal. That's my preference, y'all. That's my preference. But like I said, do it how you want to. So it was a long time. Like, I've been wanting to make this video for y'all for a long time, but everybody does it so differently that I was like, I don't know. This is a battle right here, because there's so many different ways you can do it. But then I thought, you know what? Maybe you don't have these recipes. Maybe you didn't grow up eating these and you wanted a good recipe. So that's why I'm going to give it to y'all. So I added my eggs right over into that onion that I had cut up a little bit earlier. So we're going to mix that in good. I always like to mix things in between a lot of times. Okay, so now we're going to flip over to the beans, because we got things cooking here and there, so I'm trying to get it all done at the same time. So I got my onion already in my little pan, and I'm going to add, probably for this amount of beans, about a half a pound or so of hamburger meat. Now, this is another thing. If you don't want to use meat in your beans, you don't have to, but this is the way I make mine. So you're going to brown it up until your meat's brown and your onions are cooked, and then drain the grease off of it. Now, I take 1 big can of any kind of baked beans. Now, these are like the Bush's original or whatever. It doesn't matter, because I'm going to doctor them up. You can use the plain old can of those cheap pork and beans if you want to. It's not going to matter, because we're going to add stuff to it. So what I add to mine is I start out adding, y'all, I know these ingredients are going to maybe sound like they're weird and they don't go together, but trust me on this, the flavor is really, really good. So, and also I will tell you, I don't bake my baked beans. I know a lot of people do. I just put mine on the stove, doctor them up, and then I let them simmer until we're ready to eat them. So the first thing that we're going to add is a little bit of yellow mustard, just plain old mustard. And you'll see how much I add in here. If I had to guess, I'd say maybe a tablespoon or so. And then I'm going to add in some syrup. Any kind of syrup that you have, like maple syrup, will work just fine. Sugar-free, regular, whatever, great value. Y'all know me, great value. So I'm going to add about a tablespoon of that. Now, like I said, this is 1 can of beans. So if you have more, then add more. Then I added kind of a heaping tablespoon of brown sugar. And then I'm going to add some sweet pickle relish, about a tablespoon or so, just to taste, a big old tablespoon. But I know a lot of people don't like sweet relish. They like dill relish. If that's your preference, then use whatever you prefer. But for me, in all of these dishes, I don't like a dill pickle relish. Now, I like dill pickles. I don't care to eat a whole sweet pickle, but in this, I like, the sweet. So I almost forgot to show y'all, I added some barbecue sauce to this as well. And you can add a couple tablespoons. I kind of mix it in, taste it, see how, see what it tastes like, and then add as needed. Okay, so now our potatoes are ready, and we're back to our potato salad. So what I did was I got my potatoes cooked, and you can see there's, see where they are. They're still holding together, but they're going to mush up as I stir them. So you're going to drain them good, and then dump them right over into your eggs and onions. And then you're just going to mix that up a little bit. I'd mix it up just to kind of, like I said, get it mixed just a little. Then we're going to add, I was trying to fan the steam off there, y'all. Then I'm going to add some mayonnaise. Use whatever kind of mayonnaise you use. This is just some light mayonnaise. And I added, this is probably half or 3/4 of a cup. Start out with half a cup and then go from there, because you can always add more if you need to. I add my mayonnaise in first, and then I stir it up to see if the consistency is what I need it to be. You get it as smooth as you want it to be. Make sure you have enough mayonnaise to hold everything together, if that makes sense. So I thought I cut myself right there. Look. Ooh. Luckily, I did not. Crisis averted, y'all. But anyway, you just mix it up. Now, see how it's getting kind of smooth and all my mayonnaise is mixed in? So this was a good amount. But if you start out, like I said, with about a half a cup for this amount of potatoes, and then if, you can always add more if you need to. So then I'm going to add in some yellow mustard, couple of tablespoons, maybe 2 tablespoons to start out. And again, it's going to be a matter of taste and what it looks like and all that. But this is what makes your potato salad yellow. If anybody was wondering, it's the mustard. And I know I've seen recipes where they use different kinds of mustard. Don't use mustard, whatever. But again, for the 86th time in this video, this is just how I make mine. So I mix my mustard in good till I get it to the color that I like. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add in a couple big spoonfuls of this sweet pickle relish. And like I said, I know some people who do not like sweet pickle relish in theirs. They prefer dill. You could certainly use dill if you wanted to. I like sweet pickle relish. And so does my family. So that's why we use it. So you're just going to mix that in real good. You want to be able to just kind of see it in there, but you don't want it to be so just pickle overpowering, But just mix it in real good. And then, of course, you're going to need to season this potato salad up, right? We can't have it with no flavor. So add you a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And again, this is a matter of preference. You can add different seasonings if you like different things on yours. And then I added in a little bit of Tony's, because you got to give it a little flavor, y'all. You got to give it a little flavor. And all these flavors work really, really good together. So you can see as I've stirred, you can see the little pieces of potato, it's still a little bit chunky, but mostly smooth. That's the way I like my potato salad, y'all. So now we're going to move on to our deviled eggs. Now, all those little egg yellows we put into that bowl, the egg yolks, whatever y'all want to call them, I just call them the yellow part. You're going to go ahead and mash that up with a fork, just like we did our eggs for our potato salad. I just like to mash these a little bit before I start mixing, because then they mix a lot smoother when you start adding the stuff to them, So go ahead and just mash them up real good. And then we're going to add a lot of the same ingredients we already used. You're going to use about maybe a tablespoon. This is another one of those err on the low side. So start out with a little bit, add that in, stir it up good. And then if you need to add a little more, you can. But if you add too much, you can't take it back out. So that's probably about a tablespoon for the amount of eggs that I used. And you're just going to mix that up until it's nice and smooth. Okay, it's going to be about the consistency of mashed potatoes. So then I add just a little touch of mustard. This is maybe half a teaspoon, because again, remember, this is it's a tiny bit of stuff that we have here. So you don't want to add too much stuff. And then I added maybe a teaspoon or so of the sweet pickle relish. Now, like I said, You do it how you want to, but this is mostly for people who either, I made this video because if you either like these kind of things and you want to try some new recipes, or you don't already have your own recipe. I know these are very, very, people are very particular about deviled eggs, potato salad, baked beans, and things like that. So I added just a little bit of salt and pepper to these, y'all. And I just mixed it up. Like I said, it's about the consistency of mashed potatoes. Now, if you like yours thinner, you can definitely make it thinner if you want to. So then I just went ahead, and this is another thing. If you want to get fancy and use a piping bag and like make it all pretty and pipe it in there, you can. I don't do that. I take a little spoonful and I kind of stuff it down in the, place where the egg yolk was in the little hole. And then I just keep going, and I kind of, you hump it up a little on the top. You don't want it to be flat with your egg, because then there's not enough filling. And for some reason, when I do this, I always end up with 1/2 of an egg left over. So what we do is we just take that one little piece of egg that's left and we scrape the bowl with it. Whatever's left in the bowl, you just scrape it up. Just eat that over to the side where nobody sees you. So then to add just a little bit more flavor and a little bit of color to mine, I put a little bit of paprika right on top. Now, if you use a smoked paprika, it'll just give your eggs a little bit of that smoky flavor. If you don't like this, you certainly don't have to add it. That's just, a matter of preference. Again, it's not, if you use regular paprika, it's not really going to change the taste at all. It just kind of makes it pretty. See there? So that is all, y'all. Look at these. These are my little deviled eggs, and y'all, they're delicious. These do not last. Every time I make them, I say I need to make more, and then I don't make more, or even if I do make more, they still don't last. They go really, really quick. So if you've never tried deviled eggs, make sure you try these. Then we have our potato salad. And again, y'all, matter of preference, but just make sure you season it good so you got some good flavor in your potato salad. This is a huge hit always with my family. If you like potato salad, in my family, this is the way that you make it. If this is the way you want to eat it, if you eat it. And then the last thing we made, of course, was our baked beans. And y'all, all of these are delicious sides. Now, we do make other things like macaroni and cheese and stuff like that. I have a macaroni and cheese recipe. I will link it for y'all if you want to check that out. But this is our sides, y'all. So I will pop y'all another video over here, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.